Most backpackers don't know all the differences between the TFN and the ABN and when you should choose each of them. And if not chosen properly, it could cost you thousands of dollars in tax return money or even get you in trouble with the ATO. I'm Arnie. I've been traveling Australia for more than 4 years and I've worked in agriculture, hospitality, construction and mining. And in this video, I'll explain you the differences between the TFN and the ABN, when to use each of them, what mistakes to avoid so you don't mess up your payslip and also your visa. This is just one of the many videos that I made for our community of backpackers in Australia, where we teach everything about the working holiday visa. So feel free to join, link in the description below. Now let's play the video. Hey friends, in this video we are going to dive into a key topic for when you are looking for a job, which is the differences between the tax file number, also known as TFN, and the Australian business number, or ABN, for backpackers. Understanding this can really impact your work experience in Australia, so let's get into it. The TFN and the ABN are two numbers given to you by the ATO, which stands for Australian Taxation Office. That their purpose is to identify you as an individual for tax purposes. It is the way the Australian government has to track your work activity and the taxes that you are paying. And depending on the type of work, this can be full-time or freelance, for example, you will have to use one number or the other. So let's start by seeing the differences between the two and which one you should be using. First, let's talk about the tax file number, or TFN. The TFN is a number given to you by the ATO. It's used to be an employee of someone, meaning that you work directly for an employer. This is the most standard way of working in Australia. For example, if you work in a restaurant, in hospitality, on farms, in mining, you will most likely work using the TFN. With the TFN, your employer, so your boss, is responsible for tax withholding. This means that they deduct the taxes from your salary before paying you and send them to the ATO. This simplifies the process for you, as you don't have to worry about putting money aside for taxes. If you are working under a TFN, your employer must pay superannuation on top of your normal wages. And by law, they have to pay at least 10.5% of your wages into your superannuation fund. However, when you leave Australia and claim it, this money is taxed at 65%. So this 10.5 ends up being around 4% of your salary after taxes. With a TFN, you can work under full-time, part-time, or casual contracts. Full-time and part-time guarantee a certain number of hours, offering more stability and protection, and also work benefits such as annual leave and sick leave. Full-time is around 35 hours a week or more, and part-time is less than 38 hours, usually being around 20-25 hours a week. And casual contracts are more flexible, but can vary significantly in hours and income. An ABN is used for more freelance or self-employed work. When you work using the ABN instead of the TFN, it represents that you are a business A doing some work for another business B. Your business A is of a single worker, yourself. There is no guarantee of hours that you will work when you are using an ABN, so you have to keep that in mind. With an ABN, you are responsible of your own tax withholding, so you need to set aside a percentage of your income to pay all the taxes that you didn't pay during the year when you do the tax return for that financial year. For backpackers, this percentage is 15% for the first $45,000 that you make. If you're going to make more money than that in the same financial year, you should put aside around 25 and 30% instead. With an ABN, you are responsible for your own superannuation as well. Employers do not contribute to superannuation for ABN holders. So in theory, you should put some money for your retirement and invest it. But for backpackers, this usually doesn't apply to us. With an ABN, you are considered a freelancer and cannot have a full-time contract. You work flexible hours based on the agreement with your client, and this can lead to inconsistent work and income. For most backpackers, especially at the beginning, working under TFN is the most recommended option. It offers more protection, stability, and is simpler regarding tax and superannuation. After gaining experience and understanding the Australian work environment, you might consider an ABN if it suits your need. The ABN offers more flexibility and potentially higher income, but requires more self-management and understanding of taxes. The biggest advantage that the ABN has is that it gives you more cash in hand to be able to use during the year, as you pay all the taxes later when you do the tax return. So if you use this cash to upskill and get more tickets, for example, then the ABN might be a good option for a while. But from personal experience, I have seen people struggle with managing their taxes under the ABN. For example, a friend of mine had to pay $10,000 when doing the tax return because he worked all year with the ABN and he didn't pay any tax. So you can have a big surprise if you are not careful using the ABN, especially if you are not ready. On the other hand, working under a TFN provides peace of mind and less administrative burden. Therefore, I strongly recommend starting with the TFN and only moving to an ABN if you are confident in managing your finances and taxes. Now you understand the differences between the TFN and the ABN and when to use each of them during your working holiday visa. But choosing the right one won't really matter if you're not getting paid well or if you're struggling to get jobs in Australia. So watch this video next where I show you the best hacks to get high-paying jobs for backpackers in Australia.